Good morning. Let's start some seeds today. I have an Eggland's Best dozen egg plastic carton. I took the label off the top so that it would be completely clear. And this is how it folds up, so it will be secure as a mini greenhouse for the seeds I'm starting. And to get these seeds started, you need something to start them in. I'm using Jiffy Seed Starting Mix. So I'm starting 2 different seeds today. One of them will be the sweet yellow jumbo onion. And what's going in this dozen egg tray is the basil that I would like to start. Oh, let me pull the label up there so you can see it is in fact basil. Basil is also good for companion planting. Both basil and onion help to repel pests that would attack my plants. The first step obviously is to fill your tray, whatever you're starting your seeds in, with your seed starting mix. You don't necessarily have to use seed starting mix. I just had some left over. As you can see, I put it in a Ziploc bag to preserve it during the time when I was not using it. So I put enough mix to about the top of each egg slot. And here I am just patting it down and checking each one of the slots to make sure they have about the same amount of seed starting mix in each section. And wherever I feel there's not enough, I go ahead and add a little more so that it's exactly how I want it before I start planting my seeds. Now, most of the seeds in this tray are going to come out of the basil packet that you saw in my hand, but the last few slots, I'm going to use basil seeds that I harvested. Before I plant them, I'm going to poke small holes in each slot so that I will have somewhere to drop the seeds into to keep the plants growing somewhat in the middle of each egg slot. Again, we're doing basil, and what I've learned is the smaller the seed, the shallower you need to plant the seed when you're starting it. Each one of these slots, I'm going to plant 3 seeds. Now, most people will tell you once they start to grow, then you thin the seeds out. I actually, or thin the plants out and you just select the strongest one and that's the one you plant. I prefer to simply separate the plants. If all 3 of them grew, separate them out and plant all 3. Because why let it go to waste? And I have not had any issue with seeds that are started together and then separated thriving in my garden. The only one I can say might have had some stunted growth is sunflowers, because apparently you're not supposed to start sunflowers in a seed tray, but rather in the spot that they're actually going to grow. And so just be careful with handling the tiny seeds because they are very small. This sandwich bag has the seeds that I harvested from the basil that I grew last year, and those are going into the last 3 slots. And as you can see here, I forgot which ones I was doing. I did count them, and that's what you saw me do. I counted back to see where did I stop. So 3 of the slots in this particular egg carton are going to have the seeds from the basil that I harvested from my garden. If you remember from any of my previous videos, those basil plants were huge. So I'm really excited to see how well they do this time around. And now just don't forget to cover up each one of those sections of seeds. That way they can be properly buried. And once you're done covering those up, you simply water. I actually have bottled water in the 8-ounce size that I'm going to use because I need very little, and that 1 bottle of water is going to last me through these 12 slots. And I do prefer to use bottled water because our tap water is not ideal. but you simply pour a little bit in each one because they're not that big. That's the whole point of starting a seed. You don't need a whole lot of space to get the seed started. They are going to be transplanted to their final home where they can get as big as they want. And once you have that watered in well, you simply pat it down again if necessary. Any of those excess seed starting mix that might have been pushed up on the sides. And then once you get it all leveled out how you want it, then you can close it up. Now, because I only planted basil in this one particular egg tray, I only need one label. So what I'm going to do is tear off, because it is perforated, the end of the label that came in the carton, and use my Sharpie to put the name of the plant as well as the date that I planted it. And with basil, I typically harvest as I go until it starts to go to seed, and then I start the process all over again with harvesting the seeds. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to place that inside the carton so I'll be able to easily identify what it is, and I am good to go. So thank you guys for watching, and happy gardening.